Oh, so this is us. I'm Richard. This is Stefanie. This is Hillary, and I'm a one teacher. Why don't you do this to me? Thank you. I'm going to talk to you about my own personal view and what I've seen in a microcosm. And they're department heads, and they're going to talk to you about overall school stuff. So these are what we're going to talk about. We're going to go beyond that. You know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about your survey. So what do I see in my own little door? So this doesn't mean that this is what happened. This is just what I see. But what's happened over 30 years, funding's changed. Huge. Local funding to provincial funding to what we can spend money on, what we can't spend money on, and the lack of funding. The curriculum, we keep changing it. And what happened, I'm going to go back to the 2007 curriculum. Well, the grade 9 and grade 10 before that, that's where they did the 11 and 12. But we decided that we wouldn't do drill and kill anymore. We decided that the kids would just learn the math that they needed to solve a problem that we came up with. And it's wonderful and it's great learning. But it was hard to get our strands met and we have a wide variety of students and different learning levels. And so remember, we're trying to hit many levels of student learning and achievement within one class of 30. So then the curriculum changed, and that changed what the textbooks look like when we got when they made up the new textbooks, of course. We also, anyway, teaching pedagogy changed. And I talked about that for a minute. I'm going to slow down a little bit. And that's where they, no spiraling anymore. We're going to be discrete. We're not going to have factoring all the way through. We're going to do linear equations in grade 9. We're going to do trigonometry and some quadratics in grade 10. And grade 11, we'll do functions. That changed what the textbooks look like. And then technology. And I'm going to talk a lot about technology, but I'll go quick. So these are some things that happened. So when I first started teaching, this is what we got. We got the curriculum document, and you got a textbook, and some of you have said the same thing, and that was it. So you took the curriculum document, you opened it up, and you looked at the textbook, and that's all you had. And there might be a couple of chapters that you didn't use, but that was your textbook. That's how you made your lessons. And if you made your lessons just from those 3 examples, then the kids couldn't go home and read those 3 examples and have something new. So if you wanted more examples, you had to go find another textbook. Textbooks were important. All the homework that went home from a textbook. Any extra resource was handwritten. Ditto machines, started with ditto machines, chalkboard lessons. Okay, then I was part of the first group that started teaching in high school that had access to a personal computer at home. No, wow, custom publishing. Custom publishing. I can make my worksheets. That was huge. That was huge. High quality customized worksheets and homework. Lesson packages. I can make lesson sheets and hand them out to the kids, and we can follow through it. Their packages became your main source of the course curriculum. We designed it using the curriculum documents, and we made our own packages, and they started looking like things like this. That's 1 unit in calculus. 1 unit. But it's all mine and other teachers that I work with, exactly what I want. Then the internet, the World Wide Web, I like to call this the golden age. You could easily access many different, I'm going to read up here because I can't see it, direct lessons and course outlines, abundance of applicable reference material, easier to find quality resource, curating other professionals. So we were collaborating, we were curating, we were taking, we were sharing, and we got better. We started making our own customized materials that are much better now. But we were still utilizing paper. Everything was still paper at this point. And here's the deal. We were no longer teaching the skills of reading textbooks. And that's something I felt the loss of in my career. We no longer teach kids how to read textbooks. Why? Because we're trying to get the strands met. We're trying to get the skill sets in there. And just so that you know, a lot of this within our community was free. Here's a guy teaching in Ontario. Grade 11, he does all of the grades. It's open source, all of his worksheets, all of his videos, and it's free to help anyone that wants to. So then online learning came, our LMS management. Now we get to leverage multimedia, exactly what you've got in your one-stop shop, but ours is a little bit all over the place. Online learning tools can be used at school and at home. Kahoots, instructional videos, Desmos, video solutions. Big deal. Papers no longer to transmit learning materials. I don't need the textbook to be that device that goes to home and back. Let's take a quick look at what some of my classes look like. Come on, I'm not doing well today. So here is my LMS page. Oh, by the way, this has been around since I was going through, I have an old one from 2009. This isn't new. It's not new for high school. It didn't just happen when we started because of COVID. It was out there. So here's my higher order derivatives lesson. So we're going to have a class discussion. I'm going to have some videos, and my homework is a worksheet, guys. Why? Because they're exactly what I want. These are the questions I want, and I can easily make them and distribute them. Come back. My homework. So now I can link to, so you want some additional resources? Here's another worksheet. This one's from Jensen Math. He's happy to let me use it. But what else is he going to give me? He's going to give me full solutions to it. What else is he going to give me? He's going to give me his website where the kids can go to. Thank you. And I can watch videos, lessons, worksheets, solutions. I can send homework on the LMS itself. There's my use of my textbook. And sometimes I go out of my way to make sure I use the textbook. Kahoots, that's my homework. They go home and do Kahoots at home that we did in class, interactive. Same deal, 5 worksheets. Yeah, and it just keeps going. And to give you an idea of how good some of this custom publishing gets to be, so there's my PDF. That's what I would give to a new teacher. That's what I would work on with these wonderful people, and it's gone. Because I can't see beyond that. And someone else, that's also in there. But notice, here's our homework. So it's textbook, but it's also worksheet, textbook, worksheet. And here's my custom publishing for my notes. And this is what I'm going to learn from. And this is what I'm going to do. Okay, that's just me. That's 30 years. Stefanie, oh, Hillary.
So we don't dislike the textbook. We actually really do love it as a reference material, but we had a lot of changes. The environments have changed. The students have changed. The curriculum has changed. And while all of these things are changing, the textbook does not. It's a printed resource. What we have here is probably our most recent example of a board-wide change. In about 2020, the government de-streamed the grade 9 curriculum and added a whole bunch of new content that was not present in the textbooks we already had. So together with some teachers from the board, we have a numeracy consultant. He's actually hiding in the audience, Anthony Stebano. We created our own kind of custom course. So this is kind of the content that we want in our classrooms. We have things like our lessons here. If you want to click on any of them, you can. Lessons that have the examples we need to give them those skills. Is something that we can customize. We try it out. We see if we like it. We can edit it. And we've got kind of examples following with some practice, a different example, more practice. We really, really want the practice. With those lessons, in our outline, we have matching homework pages. The homework has that repetitive, differentiated questions, so different levels. We have our learners coming to us with a lot of different skills. Some students need those very simple examples in the beginning to build up to the harder ones. Some students can skip ahead and go to those more detailed questions or those more involved ones, but we need practice. So we're finding that with the custom publishing, we have the ability to kind of cater to the type of learner we have in front of us, and we can model it to fit whatever class we're facing that day. Steph has some more examples of materials. I'll turn it to her.
you. So as Hillary just demonstrated, school boards and teachers put a lot of effort and time into the creation of these packages, which are used as the baseline and the core of our math classes. These packages are created to provide the lesson content, not only to align with the curriculum, but also to provide enough practice, as she said, practice, and to solidify that student learning. If you were to look at the unit outline, which Renee showed earlier, in any of the packages, the secondary course across the math classes, you will see selected textbook questions from the teacher and assigned homework for only as a supplementary resource, the textbook. As a department head, to support a new teacher or a teacher taking on a new class prep, I would be passing on these created packages first and then direct them towards the associated textbook second. In the case, again, of the grade 9 D stream course, our content was created at the same time as the new curriculum and was being released and amended and then created. And so our focus was not only to create lesson packages with that practice, but to include leveled questions and enough practice questions at varying levels of difficulty to cater to all of our learners. Teaching at the secondary level is one of the main challenges, is teaching to a class that has a wide range in skill level and learning styles. That is not only true to the new D stream classes, but also for all grades 9 to 12. With that being said, math teachers in our board are very critical of the resources then that we choose to use as that primary source in our class in order to cater to all those learning styles and levels. Again, for the grade 9 D stream math course, we still do not have an official textbook that we use every day like we do some of the other grades. The closest resource that we do have is the online platform created by Edwin. The content in this platform is very good. They have simplified lessons. They had step-by-step examples with solutions. They had basic practice. They have interactive practice. They have review pages. Our only issue with this resource and the most common feedback from students was that the platform itself, the Edwin platform, was difficult to navigate. And I know you've mentioned that already in your survey as well. There were a number of occasions where students and teachers could not access the specific class, or they did not access and the content would not load. And this was different with different browsers at home and at school. The main reason this platform lost student engagement early on was the organization of the content. There were multiple clicks for students to find or open specific lessons that were associated with the homework, or we are assigning homework. Because of this, the board math consultant and our team created unit PDFs where students could link to the lesson, homework, practice, all in one place. Do you have that there? There we go. So that's the example what our board created just to simplify the Edwin platform. And as I said, it was good content. Everything they had was great, enough practice, a good lesson, clear for all the learners, especially transition grades like 9. But now we had to go here because of the multiple clicks, multiple pages that they had. And a problem here also is the language being used. It's more geared towards teachers. A student can look at that and say, okay, one of these is practice. I'm going to click the first one, mine's on, and then they think they're done because they did some questions. They don't understand that those are the warm-up questions. Then there's explore and analyze. Those are the application type questions, and then more core examples, and then a review. They understand review, practice, homework. So this was catered, the platform was catered more towards teachers, and then we had to simplify it, simplifying the clicks with an outline PDF like this. So you may be asking what resources, aside from the curated unit packages that we've shown you a couple times, have been successful in engaging students and assisting in their learning. One that we commonly use is Knowledge Hook. It's a resource that is used consistently in our board across all math classes, 9 and 10, academic and applied, de-streamed and the other levels. This online platform is a way for students to practice questions directly aligned with the curriculum expectations. And this is through a gamification method. Students are engaged in these multiple choice questions. Some are standard, some requiring demonstration of learning through virtual manipulatives. This format also helps students read and write math tests with multiple choice questions. And this is a big learning skill, especially for grade 9 students as they prepare during the semester to write EQAO. And this is now fully online multiple choice assessment. In our department specifically, we have made it a point to incorporate EQAO questions at the end of our lesson packages, or we include challenge questions on our assessments that were previous EQAO questions. For future grade 9 resources, it would be very helpful for students to include for the students old EQAO style questions at the end of a chapter practice. This would be similar to old textbooks that end their chapter practice with a challenge questions or the tips questions. So having the EQAO style and multiple choice there is very helpful. The most recent challenge we're facing in our board-wide restriction is on paper and print. Our school board has rolled out digital initiative, giving all of our students Lenovo laptops for the classroom. Beginning next year, we are required to provide course material through a shared virtual platform. So all of our LMS, course outlines, everything we showed you today, the packages cannot be printed. So since COVID, we have discovered a plethora of online resources that essentially provide entire course materials, and they do align with the Ontario curriculum. As Renee showed you a little bit in detail, the Jensen Math website is one of the excellent websites, not just for grade 9, he has all courses on there. It provides lessons, empty notes, shells, matching video lessons, written solutions, and the practice. So this caters really to all of our learning, and the website itself was organized and easy to navigate. If someone went blank face to that, it has separate sections for student, teacher, and parent. Another website is the BHN Math, a website created by a neighboring school board to us in Hamilton. It is another website providing lessons, practice, and connects to supplementary videos. Again, a vetted website aligned with the curriculum. This group also created a grade 9 de-streamed student practice book. That one right there. That one. So this practice book, it's currently free, or they have available free on their website as a PDF or digital copy. This resource is an excellent example of how many questions are needed for the current learners and in order for them to fully absorb the gain knowledge. So this is the book here. They've put together all of their practice worksheets and combined it as a textbook. So this is like the old textbooks used to have just practice workbooks separate from the textbook. This is their version of that with multi-leveled questions and enough of the questions for especially the D-Stream classroom. One final resource we just wanted to mention that was a successful aid in the classroom is the former website Prep Anywhere. Unlike the previous two resources, this was not a full course package. The website provided tutorial videos for questions in ministry referred textbooks. So this was helpful in the classroom in two ways. First, the obvious, to clarify steps and process for students in a video support, which always receives better feedback than just reading a written solution. Second, after watching one of the videos of the solutions from the textbook, the students were more inclined to go now to use that textbook and create and answer more of the questions within that textbook at home and at school. So overall, as educators, we do not want to eliminate the textbooks from the classroom fully. However, admin cutbacks on textbook purchases, technical issues with online textbooks, finding cost-effective pricing for these online textbooks, changing learners, and our requirement to meet the needs of those various learning styles. These all present challenges for us as teachers to move forward using the current textbooks. Thank you for inviting us today.